There are three things that can slow down your healing. And really, this topic is around the idea of how much time is really needed for you to heal. How much time should you expect that it could take for you to overcome anxiety, depression, or even bipolar disorder? So this is a very interesting question because a lot of folks, they look at this and how they answer this question is based on how long it took them to get into this mess. So if you're watching this video and you're struggling with anxiety and depression, you may think to yourself, well, I've been dealing with this for 20 years, and so therefore it could take me 20 years to get out of this mess. But that's not actually necessarily the case. When you know what to do and you know what works, it can actually be a very quick process. We see this with our clients all the time. We take them through a very specific strategy, our proven strategy that has worked over and over again to help our clients transform their lives from the place of just managing anxiety and depression to that place of complete freedom, living their life in peace and joy. And again, when you know exactly what to do, this can happen very, very quickly. We do this in a short amount of time. When we also take out the fluff, the fluff, the things that you've learned to do that really are just for managing, they're just band-aid solutions. We stop wasting your time with those things. You stop doing those things and you start doing the things that are actually contributing to healing. Very quickly, we can turn this over. But there are three things that you can do that will actually slow this process down, that will actually get in your way and cause your time in the struggle to be longer. And so I want you to know what those things are so that you can avoid doing those things. The very first is staring at the past. This is the first thing that can slow you down. Again, it will stall out your healing, is staring at the past. What do I mean? Well, many people, what they do is they will go to counselors and they will stare at the trauma. And yes, I understand that trauma is part of the equation. Trauma is part of what brought you here. But staring at the trauma is not going to help you heal from that trauma. And so a lot of people, again, they go into counseling offices over and over again, week after week, multiple times a week, just talking about how they can't get over the thing, how they can't move past the thing. Tell me more about how that trauma makes you feel. And it doesn't actually help you actually overcome. The whole thing that you need is to heal from that trauma, to overcome anxiety and depression, to be able to live your life in freedom. But again, staring at the past does not allow you to do it. If you think about it this way, how can you move forward confidently? How can you move forward and actually do something with your life when you're staring behind you? It's not possible. If you are moving in this direction and staring at that thing that's behind you, you will trip over something. You will knock yourself out by something you didn't see that's in the road in front of you. And the metaphor stands for life and for healing. And so it's very important to understand staring at the past is actually slowing you down and it's getting in the way of your healing. There is a better way. I want to be sure that I give you an example. So again, we've helped hundreds of clients through this process. Hundreds of clients we've seen transform their lives and go from just managing anxiety and depression to that place of total freedom. And so one of my best examples of how staring at the past can get in your way is our graduate Ryan. So when he came to us, he was struggling with very deep depression and really had just stalled out in his life. Everything was on hold. He really didn't know what to do, and he was doing what most clients that come to us, what they're doing is just traditional treatments. He was going to counseling, he was taking medications, because for the most part, this is all that you're offered, right? If this is your first time watching a video at Achieve Emotional Mastery, then you may be like, whoa, what are you even talking about? Yes, I'm talking about more than managing the problem. You do not have to waste your life managing the problem. It is possible to heal completely and overcome this thing completely. So again, when Ryan came to us, all he knew was medication and counseling. And so that's what he was doing. And twice a week, he was going into his counselor's office and staring at the trauma. And he kept declaring, I just can't move past this. This just hurts so much. I don't know how to move past this. And so his counselor and him would talk about this every single week. And so he was staring at that hurt. He was staring at that pain, not being equipped to move on with his life, not being equipped to actually heal from that trauma. And so again, this locked him in deep. And so when he started working with us, he started moving towards what he wanted to see. And so we set out in front of him the vision. Where do you want to go? What do you want healing to look like? What does peace and joy look like? And more importantly, how do we get there? And so we implemented the pieces that needed to take place for Ryan to actually experience freedom and move on in his life. And now he's thriving. Now he's doing the very thing that he loves in his work. He's impacting the lives of young people, and he's living out of this place of peace and joy and confidence. And it's absolutely beautiful. The second thing that can potentially slow you down is not addressing all three parts of who you are. You are an emotional, physical, and spiritual being. And unless you heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually, keep going round and round and around the mountain. And that's what we see with all of our clients that come to us. Not one has ever used an approach where they've worked on healing emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That's something that is very different about what we do at Achieve Emotional Mastery. And if you have not used an approach where you were working on healing from one person, walking you through a strategy to heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually, this will slow you down indefinitely. In fact, it will prevent you from healing completely. There is no other way to heal completely. You must learn a strategy that includes emotional, physical, and spiritual healing. And as I throw that out there, what does that exactly mean? Well, what this means is the emotional part's easy, right? That's the part that most counselors do, the part that you probably have many books on your shelf around how to emotionally heal, right? These are the deep thinking questions. These are the things that you know. That's the emotional healing part. The part that we often miss is including both the spiritual and the physical side in that. So the spiritual side, you may or may not have. Some books will cover both the emotional and the spiritual side, and so maybe you've looked at some of that. There are some various programs out there that, again, will cover the emotional and the spiritual side. But if you forget to include the physical side and don't learn what you need to do to physically heal and heal the brain chemistry, again, round and round and round the mountain. And so this slows down your healing, and again, will prevent it. It just will not happen unless you also address the physical side. And so there's things that we need to do to allow our body to heal, allow our mind to heal. And again, this cannot happen in the absence of God. We must remember our relationship with God as we do these things. Otherwise, nothing really happens. The spiritual side is so important. I won't go into that real deeply here, but again, without incorporating God into the process and looking at your relationship with God, again, nothing really happens, because there is a supernatural element in healing. It's not just the physical, emotional side. There is a supernatural side. There is a spiritual side. And so we've got to keep God at the center throughout this process. So again, these three are absolutely needed in order for you to heal completely. I do want to give you another example of this. So one of our graduates, Amber, she was depressed, anxious, and again, using all the traditional methods, using medication, using counseling. What was so interesting about Amber is she was really stuck in this cycle where she was running away from her life. Like so many of our clients, just life wasn't good. And so instead of facing her life and enjoying her life, she was essentially running away from it. And so every day when she would come home, she'd crawl back into her bed to escape. She would just sleep. She was sleeping away her life. And she'd worked with counselors to break this habit. She knew this was a self-defeating habit, but also had no idea how to break it. And she had worked with her counselors for years and years to break this self-defeating habit. She tried to talk herself out of it. They tried to talk her out of it. She tried all the traditional things for breaking this habit and was getting nowhere. And her life was getting deeper and deeper and deeper in. And so when she came to us, it was in desperation to go, I need a change. I'm missing out on my own life, and I'm missing out on the life of my children. She recognized that she was running away from her life and she wanted a change. So she partnered with us and then began to heal, again, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. In less than 4 weeks, she broke the habit of climbing back into her bed. In less than 4 weeks, which brings me back to the top question that I began this video with, which is how much time is really needed for healing. It's able to happen quickly if you will implement the right strategies. So for Amber, again, she began to heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and everything changed. As she graduated from our process, she was living her life again, enjoying time with her family, no longer going to bed. In fact, she just ditched that. The only time she was in her bed was when she slept for a good night's rest at night. And that is how it should be, that you're not escaping to your bedroom and to sleep just to avoid your life. In fact, Amber's not the only one that broke bad and self-defeating habits just like that. But again, the reason we're able to do that with our clients and help them transform their life and find freedom is because we help them heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Now, what's the third thing that will slow down your healing? The third thing is waiting for perfect timing. You may be watching this video and going, yeah, I want to change my life, but it's just not good timing. Maybe you're waiting for perfect timing or perfect circumstances. And let me just tell you, there's never a perfect time for this. There's never perfect circumstances. You might want to wait till you have more time on your hand, or maybe your marriage feels more solid, or whatever the ideal moment or the ideal circumstances that you have in your head. Hey, when this happens, that'll be the time to invest in myself and to begin the healing process. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time for healing. If you wait for all the circumstances to be right, it'll never happen. And so again, this will really slow you down, because if you're waiting for the perfect moment, you'll wait till, let me wait till Christmas. And then Christmas comes and it's busy. And so you wait till the new year, and then the new year comes and you wait for 2 months in, and on and on and on. And so you can delay your healing by waiting for the perfect time. And so you want to step up now. Our clients are at a place where they will not let one more day go by. They will not let one more holiday season. They will not let one more summer go by. They will not let one more month go by before they get their breakthrough. And that's where you really need to be as well, is that there's something in you that says, not one more day wasted on this. And when you come to that place, again, you'll figure out how to make it work. You'll figure out how to put the time in that's needed. And yes, there's time and effort that is necessary. I don't have a magic wand. Yes, we have a proven strategy, but it isn't instantaneous, and it does require work. And so you will need to invest the time in yourself for this transformation. And so what that means is that you'll need to accommodate the time that's needed. I mean, there's no other way about it. You'll need to invest the time and the effort and the energy necessary for healing. But again, our clients are so bent on their transformation. They know they must, because they know that everything else in their life is waiting on this transformation. And so they're willing to make it, to get it done. And we've seen a lot of folks come to us with not ideal circumstances. Their marriage isn't great. Well, their marriage isn't great because they're dealing with anxiety and depression. And it's hard to have a healthy marriage when you're unhealthy. And so if you're waiting for the healthy marriage, it isn't, there's no waiting on that. In fact, you need to do this now so you can be healthy, so your marriage has a shot. And one of our graduates, Danny, that's exactly where he was at. He could have easily said, well, I need to wait for my marriage to be better in order to get started with you and actually transform my life. But he recognized that it was because he was unhealthy. It was because he was given to anxiety and anger that he needed to change his life. He needed to do that first so that his marriage then had a shot. And so he partnered with us, again, willing to put in the time. He was working a full-time job, still getting done the changes that he needed to make for his own transformation. He invested the time, the energy, the effort, and everything changed for him. His outlook on life changed. His hope for his marriage changed. Everything began to change. He began living out of a more peaceful demeanor. He was no longer controlled by his emotions, which is a huge part. Again, the name of our program is Achieve Emotional Mastery. That's what we help our clients with, to achieve emotional mastery. So many of our clients, when they come to us, they are given to anger, given to crying fits. Their emotions are in control of their life. And so during our process, we heal completely and allow our clients to have control over their emotions instead of the other way around. And so again, that's what happened for Danny. He didn't wait for perfect timing. He said, not one more minute, not one more day like this. And he invested time and energy and effort into his life so that he could completely transform it. And now everything has changed for him. So again, these are the 3 things that can really slow you down and prevent you from healing right now. And again, it does not have to take a long time. We do this quickly. We have locked down what exactly you need to do in order to change your life. And if you want to know more, the way to begin this process is really to watch our masterclass. In the masterclass, we cover the 5 shifts my clients have used to transform their lives, to go from being overwhelmed by anxiety and depression to that place of freedom and joy. And so if you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, I need to know what to do, then I'm going to lay out the steps. This is the exact step-by-step process in our free masterclass. And you can watch that by going to stacyrivera.com/freedom. Again, these are the 5 shifts my clients have used, the same 5 shifts you will need to be able to overcome and to heal completely. The second thing that we'll do is identify what is blocking your healing. Some of that we've talked about today in this video. We'll show you what's been missing from other treatments and other traditional methods that you have tried. And the third thing is we're going to leverage a whole health approach. Again, you've heard me talk about it in this video. I talk about this all the time because it is the key. You must heal emotionally, physically, and spiritually in order to have a shot at this thing. In order to heal completely, you must heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so again, we'll leverage that whole health approach. So again, your first step is going to be to watch our free masterclass. You can go check that out. From there, I will walk you through the next step and the next step and the next step. We are here to walk with you through the process of completely transforming your life so you can leave anxiety and depression behind and finally do the things that God has called you to do.